What's up, everybody? I haven't made videos in a little bit. It's been a little bit busy, but I definitely need to get on here and start spreading the word a whole lot more. I'm just watching things in the media and online and locally and just people in general, and like the spiritual war is just really, I can't find the word for it, but it's becoming more prevalent. I'm seeing it a lot more. The real big thing with me that I'm finding is the deception part of it. That's the part that pains me and hurts my heart. Is I'm watching people talk about X, Y, and Z, and we're not getting to the core of the issue, which is Satan, sin, legion. Um, Ultimately, that's what all this stuff is coming down to. And I'm watching the divide become blurred. Before we were like, well, it's a racial thing, or it's a belief thing, or it's becoming a we don't even know thing. We're getting flooded with so much stuff with like the Epstein junk and the economy and our whole entire government, and then we've all got our personal stuff going on, and it's just so much stuff going on that nobody really knows what to blame. It's like things are just nuts, and it's like, well, I know exactly who to blame, and it's Satan. Uh, so we got to remember, just like, keep sight of the real enemy in all of this stuff. It's not you or I. It's not our neighbors or people that we may not even agree with. We just got to pray for people. And one of the big things that I've been dealing with lately is, the Lord will show you certain things, and not everybody's going to jive with it or understand it in that moment in time. And that's happened a lot with me, where the Lord has shown me things and I'm like, wait a minute, we got to do this differently. And I'd like to say that I'm super like unapologetic in my spreading of gospel and stuff, but I mean, it's really not. I'm still very like tactful in certain things that I say and do, because I don't want to offend anybody. And it's like, well, watching everything that's happening in the world and stuff, like, I don't want to say the rapture's coming, or that Jesus is coming back. I don't definitively know, but what I do know is that we as people kind of go through cycles every X amount of years, like the rise and fall of empires, technological advances, like just humans in general go through stuff, and we're not very much different from how we were during the times of Jesus. We have houses and plumbing and electricity and stuff, but these things are still fairly primitive. Technology is kind of a wild thing as far as computers and stuff go, but it's outside of that, like what we do on a daily basis, and we work, and we grab food, and the daily routines and stuff, it's all very the same. It's very primitive. But we're under this guise and this weird distraction of media and cameras and making things look larger than life. And then we always strive for what we think is eventually going to be that thing, or the pictures we see or the videos we saw, and it's never that same thing. So this generation that I'm a part of, like, whatever you want to call it, the Illuminati or world leaders, whatever, I don't care. It's the devil, and the deception game and the confusion and all that has worked marvelously in the devil's favor. And I can tell you, because I personally have fallen victim to all of the devil's shenanigans throughout my whole life, and I've been hurt by the world and deceived and like confused, and just, I mean, to the point where I've almost killed myself. Like, it's terrible, but the devil's plan is working. That's the goal. And as we watch anxiety and depression and all these things rise up, and then people are starting to kind of see that, the system is broken, and it's put in place by really evil people, You know, this isn't even really a human thing. This is a demons and God thing. And demons have ultimately just crept into every little nook and cranny of the system that we have in place. And that's kind of the thing. The Lord told us not to do all this stuff with big cities and all that. Like, we're supposed to spread out and stay small and, you know, travel around to one another's little towns and stuff like it was back in the day. You know, it's easier to keep track of people and money and tax and stuff and things and issues when it's very small. It's, you know, they lie to us about the census and the numbers and everything. Like, politicians filling their pockets with BS numbers about everything. Like, I just drove across the country and I'm like, they want to tell me that there's billions of people in the world. I'm not buying it, like, at all. Now, I was talking to Liz about this the other night and I'm like, you know, PlayStation. I know not everyone owns a PlayStation. If you even wanted to be conservative and say that, like, 5% of the world owns some sort of gaming system, you know what I mean, or entertainment system, kids, that kind of stuff. Look at the production rates of, like, iPhones or computers and things of that nature, and then do some conservative numbers. Like, okay, everyone in the world is using the iPhone, and they make way more of them because there's tons sitting in the back shelves of, you know, not everyone has an iPhone. That's why I say do the conservative thing. And people will be like, well, half the people use this, half people. No, you could even say 10% of the world is using an iPhone, or even 5%. And then do the math, and you'll come to find they want to say that there's billions of people. Well, no, it's easier to convince people we need taxes and all this other garbage, and that it's too big of an issue. There's too many people. You can't do anything. And it's like, do we not remember that, like, this country was founded, what, 1776 is when the Declaration. So let's think about that. That's like 300 some odd years. Like, I'm not super great at math on the spot, but that's not that long ago. But the media and everything else and all this fantasy junk and stuff that we live in makes us believe that that stuff was so long ago. And, you know, Jesus was so long ago. And that was another cool thing I did the math on. Like, if you look at Jesus from the time that he walked the earth up until now, because, you know, 2026, and people live an average of 70 years, and that's like 28 people ago. And generationally, you see, you know, your father and your grandfather, sometimes your great grandfather, but even just conservatively, it's just 3 people. That's 8 generations ago people were walking with Jesus. So, like, it's really not that long ago. We've got it twisted that, like, it's so in the past and we're, like, so technologically advanced. And the problem is we make everything a mystery. Like, if half the people knew how houses worked and were made and how electricity worked and water and all that, you'd be like, really? It's not rocket science. It's not alien technology. Nothing that we do, cars, phones, none of it is out of this world. Like, chemicals and stuff, like, people got to understand, like, this all comes from the earth. Everything we have, everything we do comes from here. We're not getting offloaded shipments of trichloroethylene, bleach, whatever garbage from outer space. Like, it comes from the earth. Now, granted, like, we know, like, seeds from apples have arsenic in them, and so you can get that out of it. But it's like, we sit there and create this mystery and this falsity behind all this stuff that just creates fear, ultimately. And not even in the fear sense that, like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna die, but in the fear sense of, like, well, that's too much for me to like comprehend or understand, so I'm just gonna leave it be. And we can't be doing that. And, like, one of the big things that I try to tell people is, like, you do realize that everything we need is here on earth. You can literally go to the middle of nowhere and live off the land, and yeah, it's going to be hard, and not everybody is equipped to do that. That's the system we have in place. It's too convenient. Like, why would you need to go live off the land and farm and raise animals and why? You can go to Walmart. what happens when that all goes away, or if something happens to that, or the shipment stopper? We've all seen times where like gas gets hit, or the stores run low out of stuff. I mean, COVID wasn't that long ago, and so that system even is flawed. So, but they've taken away our God-given ability to do our own thing, and we're all equipped to live off this land and do what we need to. God gave us everything, like in abundance, to be able to do everything we need. So am I telling people go into the middle of nowhere and live off the land? No. I'm not telling you not to, but at the same time, that mentality, that mindset, to remember that, like, hey, I'm a child of the Lord, and that I was put here with everything that I need and then some. So don't get bent when you can't get the new iPhone. Like, as far as the world is concerned, your journey through life and etc., it's God gave you everything. All the other stuff is bonus, and you really don't need it. We're very spoiled here in America, and I think we're all starting to see that. And this little economic game of interest and fake loans and junk is really starting to bubble over, and it's like, it's wild to me, like, that all this time, like, we've all sat back and watched, old Civil War movies and things. I'm like, man, I wish, like, give me the chance. Like, if there ever, dude, we're in it. Like, we're literally in it right now. Like, the problem is that people start talking a certain way, and then people show up at your house and it gets weird. But it's like, y'all need to get right with the Lord, and God will carve out the paths and show people what to do. Ultimately, I believe the children of God, we don't need to go do anything. We don't need to go rally in Washington or any of that. That whole system, demonic legion groups just arguing with one another or creating this false narrative, whatever it is, these different governments that are just complete garbage. I don't need to interact with any of it. What I want to do is go live off the land in peace. And all these different, it's funny because like these Sharia law towns or these other groups that are trying to create towns, and it's like, I've been saying that for a long time as far as Christians are concerned. Like, the country was founded on Christian morals and values. I don't care what you want to say. You can blow up the comment section, that's great, but it's founded on Christian morals and values, and we should be able to. And trust me, I've seen a lot of this country. There's a lot of land out there. We should be able to have our own little slice of something and say, look, we're Christian here. We welcome all people. We're not going to ostracize you or charge you a higher tax for not being Christian or something ridiculous. Like, no, you can come to town and you can get some of this Lord and find Jesus. Like, you're not going to live in our little town and not be overwhelmingly compelled by the Holy Spirit and bear witness to it by the example. But we got to, unfortunately, how do you go out somewhere and do all that and have them leave you alone? Because you've got one little tiny group of people called the government that control the military, which is all of us, and say, hey, that's not cool. Like, go stop them from doing that. And, I mean, ultimately, it's us. Like, and we can blame the devil even as much as we want, but the devil has no authority, and he hasn't had power since Jesus died. So the only ones really doing anything is us. So as much as we like to sit online and complain and be like, man, the system's corrupt and everything's going to shit, and like Trump is this and Netanyahu's that and freaking Iran, I just like, my gosh, it's our own fault. We pay these people, we allow it to happen, we just go with it. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I have the answer to that problem, but I'm sure that a good debate in the comment section could figure it out. But something's got to give. And again, like, I don't want to get involved as a Christian. I don't want to go to Washington and deal with all that nonsense. It's fairy tale. It's not real. Like, to be honest, all of that junk is just paperwork and stuff that people were like, yeah, I said this is how it is. Yeah, I can't believe we live in this world where we just go with stuff like that, because it's like, well, we got to have law and order and all. Yeah, we absolutely do, but now, like, you're watching the very system you trust, like, be used against you and against the whole world, and we're just kind of like hanging out. Like, so that's fine. It can do its own thing, but like, please allow me to go do my own thing in peace, and let me go with a handful of the people that agree or that feel the same way, because I know I'm not the only person who's like, you know what, I'm just not jiving with this stuff, and I'm sick of the city stuff and the big nonsense and the dog eat dog and the fake hatred, like this fake competition with people. It's so stupid, and it's just comparison games and status and all this junk, and for what? You're gonna die. We're all gonna die. Like, God, and it's just wild because you've got songs and movies and people, politicians, people that tell you, everybody, these things, and I sit back and I know the devil's like in my ear, like, well, what's the point of making videos and stuff? Nobody cares. Everybody's already talking about it. I don't care, because I'm another one of those people that feels that way, and the more of us that do stuff like this, the more it lets people know that, hey, like, we're all tired of the shit. And I don't care. I don't want to do anything to your shit, but like, let me go do my own thing over here in peace. Like, is there any land left? You know? And without having to like go to straight war for it. Like, it's stupid. There's so much of it out there. Like, just let the people do their thing. It's kind of what America is, like, freedom to whatever. And so I may not agree with every other belief system, but that's not my place. It's not my war. And all I can do is walk with Jesus and do it in my little corner. And when people need help, I don't care where you come from, I'm gonna help you. Like, just live the word and walk with Jesus. And the money and the stuff and it just doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. And I do know, for a fact, this revival that's happening in the world, like, I watch so many people touched by the Lord, and just like almost prophetically, and it's all the scumbags and worthless people. Like, I've hung out with Satan, and I've died spiritually and physically, and to be here every breath I have, I don't owe the Lord anything. My debt was paid with Jesus and all of that. I get that, but every breath I have is a gift from God that I truly appreciate. And I feel like every moment needs to be just getting people to the Lord and living in peace and being the example. So I don't know. I would love to rally up people and go live somewhere and be unapologetically Christian in our ways. Like, run the whole town off Deuteronomy and the Bible. Like, and have a whole council of people that are just wholeheartedly in love with Christ and are there for the right reasons and cannot be bought or swayed or sold or whatever. Like, just do it differently and do it with the Lord. I don't know. If anything, I just hope it sparks good conversation. There's just so much crap going on in the world, I don't even know where to begin. And I apologize the videos are long, but at the same time I don't, because I feel like this whole instant gratification junk that they're doing to us and making videos, 30 seconds long or whatever it is, 60, I don't even care. It's demonizing and it's harmful. We cannot just sit still with ourselves anymore and with one another or with God. That's the big one. And so we got to learn our self-control and whatnot. And it's hard when you're just constantly fed BS and just feed, whether it's your brain or your mouth or whatever. Something's got to give. So if any of y'all feel like I do, let me know. God bless you guys, and I will be trying to make more videos and stuff more frequently. Yeah, stay tuned. It's about to get wild.